Oh, hello everyone. It's Susie, Crypto Granny here. The date is the 11th of September 2024 and the time in Europe is 1950. And it was 23 years ago today that the World Trade Center happened. It was just horrible, absolutely horrible. And, a lot of planes went to other places as well and killed quite a lot of people in the World Trade Centers, which was just terrible. Anyone that was alive at that time, it's something you'll never forget. I guess it's like the people in the 60s when Kennedy died. It was just everyone remembers what happened that day. I remember going into work. I was working for Commonwealth Investment Management and I was in early and no one was around and, looking, trying to find out what happened. I got on the bus to go to work. It was really quiet on the bus. I didn't know what had happened at the World Trade Center because I was using my internet, and in those days you had to use a phone line. And I had friends trying to call me and my parents and everything, but I didn't know what had happened when it was live, like what was happening. And so I went into the office and there's no one around. And then I find everyone's, in a meeting room looking at the TV. And, I saw these planes going to the World Trade Center building. It's just horrendous. And those poor people that died and their families, just awful. So yeah, it's hard to believe it was 23 years ago. Now let's talk about the cryptocurrency market. What's important today? What's the economic news that people were waiting for? What's happening in markets at the moment? I've looked at probably a number of 35 different portfolios today. So please put your portfolio on Crypto Compare. Remember about operational risk, very, very important. Go back to our videos on our platform under starting up, look at operational risk. Don't get scammed by anyone. Be really careful with the crypto and don't tell people, because we are going to see the biggest mother of a rally we've ever seen. Looking at 35 portfolios on Crypto Compare, which I look at every day, probably 5 times a day. The market is going to go through a big bull run, particularly the crypto market. It's very, very cheap at the moment, extremely cheap, and the networks are getting more and more profitable over time. And they're very underpriced, many coins that we invest in. And we are going to see the mother of all rallies. Now, there's a lot of expectation out there. The Fed may do an interim cut. I believe they should. The FOMC is on the 18th of September. And I believe they should cut now. America is in serious, serious trouble. All the economic figures are just off the cliff. Things look really bad. Apparently, allegedly so. Apparently, that crime in America is at an all-time high. People are losing their jobs. The consumer credit card maxed out. It's a disaster, and people are selling the US dollar in the droves. Okay, I'm amazed that the US dollar was still holding 141.90 today. I'm just absolutely gobsmacked by it. And I'm amazed that the stock market rallied today, which is beyond disbelief, to be honest, because US dollar and the stock market are priced for perfection. And, we know that big traders and big investors are out of the stock market. Warren Buffett the other day sold something like $7 billion worth of Bank of America stock. We know Michael Burry, the guy that got the 08-09 financial market crisis right and made billions, has been shorting the US equity market for some time, okay? And all the big traders like Soros and, Jim Cronos, they're all short. And, Buffett, people are saying really think, that we're going to go into a depression. And I believe that. Everything's stacking up to be like a depression that we've seen back, 1929. AI is causing a lot of technology people to lose their jobs. America's not manufacturing anything, and it's too expensive to buy American goods, given where the US currency is at 141.90. It's just too expensive. America's not competitive at all. And the inflation figures that came out today, people, are garbology. I don't believe it for a minute. Year on year, CPI, year on year is at 2.5%. It means, what, a year ago, $100 you paid for goods, and now this year you're paying for goods of $102.50. It's garbology. Inflation's up 200% or more. These figures are not right. 10-year bond yields around 4.55%. It's garbology, seriously garbology. The federal government and the Fed, the FOMC, Federal Open Market Committee, they've manipulated interest rates for so long. It's created massive distortions in the corporate bond market and the US equity market, massive distortions. And both those markets are severely overbought and priced for perfection. So depending on where you are in the world, please go and grab a cup of coffee or wherever you are, have a beer or whatever. Have one for me. And just want to say before I start with the data that affects all our portfolios, because everything's valued off interest rates, please, my clients and everyone that subscribes to me, and just yourselves, whoever you are, please look after yourself, be kind to your family, your mothers, your beautiful partners, your kids, your animals, and please also look after animals in the world because they're really suffering at the moment. So let's get onto this. Let's just have a quick drink, and I'll be back to you in a sec. Won't be a minute. So according to the data that was released, the US Consumer Price Index was 2.5. They were expecting 2.5. Previous was 2.9, so allegedly weaker, which is garbology. Thus, the market is now expecting a 75% chance of at least a 25 basis point cut, with the Fed's funds rate of 5.25 to 5.5. Now, I believe they should go 50 or 75 basis points. The Fed is always too late to the party. The consumer in America is maxed out, and it's a global phenomenon. We're seeing it with every, G7 country in the world, okay? Whether it be England, whether it be Australia, whether it be Canada, certainly America. Mortgage rates are too high. 6.29, it's really killing people. Credit rates are too high. Consumers are maxed out on their credit cards. It's a disaster. Plus, we've got hyperinflation in the system. We've got the worst situation in the world where there's no growth and hyperinflation, which to me smacks of 1929. And in that environment, the stock market is going to be very fickle. And when they sell that thing, it'll be like everyone trying to get out of the same door, right? And we know what happened in 08 and 09 was even worse than 08, right? People lost fortunes. The same thing will happen again. All the people that are in the know, like amazing traders like Michael Burry, you don't go against that guy. He knows what he's doing, and he's got the runs on the board, absolutely. The fact that they said core CPI month on month was not even 1% is garbology. Core year-on-year CPI 3.2. This is garbology, people. We can't believe any of this stuff. Seriously, we just can't. It is garbage. Garbology, in and out, and it's distorting risk market, something chronic, right? Absolutely. Now, I saw this and I thought this was funny, not funny, but very telling. We've got 2010, cost us $5 or whatever. And then, come 2021, we've got half our goods. And then come now, we've got no goods, right? And it's just, it's scary. It's basically saying go into Bitcoin, get out of cash, because cash, you're diluting your currency purchasing power, because you've got inflation running at 200% per annum, which essentially means your cash is going down by 20% per annum. Bitcoin, it's saying Bitcoin has gone up, which it has. You could afford this in 2010. Now you can afford this car and obviously a huge house later on. And that stands to reason, because you've got Michael Saylor out there from MicroStrategy saying Bitcoin's going to get to $1 million per unit. And I'm a believer in that. I actually am a believer in that. Also, the market cap on crypto is so low, it is a joke, right? I thought this was an interesting one. Bitcoin is still a baby, and it is. When we look at Bitcoin alone, market cap for the whole crypto market's only 2 trillion. Bitcoin is only 1 trillion of that. Gosh, I can't see that. Bear with me for a minute. What have we got? We've got, the housing market at 320 trillion. Which is real estate. We've got debt at 315 trillion. And let's just play this so I can see this, because I can't actually see what the other ones are. Equity market was 120 mil. So it gives you an idea of just how cheap Bitcoin is, okay? Even the artistic market, 18 trillion. The gold market 17 trill, and then you've got Bitcoin at 1 trill. Whichever way you cut, slice, and dice it, Bitcoin is very, very cheap, and the network makes $3 to $5 million a day in fees with no debt and is totally decentralized. Also, the Bitcoin hash rate is up, which means Bitcoin should go up, and it will, okay? As I said, Warren Buffett has dumped $7 billion of American stock, and I think the Bank of America bought some of it and other banks, but you know, it's very telling. Mr. Buffett is getting out of equities, and he's right. They are priced for perfection, US equities. The US gets a cold, everyone else gets pneumonia in the equity market when the US equity market starts going down. Also, Michael Burry is short, as I said. There was this big thing last night with Mr. Trump and Kamala Harris. The media is saying that Kamala Harris won, but I find that incredibly hard to believe. I listened to her, I listened to the whole thing. She lacked economic background. She lacked an understanding of foreign politics, economic background. A matter of fact, I thought she was very flaky, and I thought she was quite nervous as well. And honestly, I'm not a supporter. I'm really not a supporter of Kamala Harris. Even though I have a leaning more towards Democrat, I wasn't a big supporter of Kamala Harris. I thought her performance was very bad, and I think the media is a bit biased, to be perfectly honest. That's my view as a foreigner, okay? Michael Saylor came out and said Bitcoin's future is amazing. People think that Bitcoin is really risky, but it's more risky being in the US stock market than it is in Bitcoin. And I agree with this guy, because there is no Bitcoin, right? No supply, and the network is getting more and more profitable. People that talk about Bitcoin as a Ponzi scheme clearly don't understand the genius of the technology of Bitcoin, okay? It's incredible, you know, that you can transfer money or Bitcoin or anything between peers, right? Me or you, and cut out the middleman and the banks that rape and pillage. And it's, you know, live real assets, and the network's getting bigger and bigger, and it's decentralized and impossible to hack. You know, anyone that says that it's a Ponzi scheme or whatever, they just are talking garbology. They don't know a thing. It's as simple as that, people. You know, as simple as that. Bear with me for a minute. Now, also, I did watch the Camilla, Mr. Trump debate, and I thought it was very, very funny. I have to say, Mr. Trump makes politics very, very interesting. He did make a comment that's generated a lot of memes today, which I think is hilarious, that he said, and I don't know if it's true or not, I have no idea, that allegedly illegal immigrants were eating the pets and eating cats and dogs and ducks and everything else. And so now it's spawned on the internet memes for Mr. Trump. And, you know, in some ways he's quite smart. Think about it, because he has a lot of memes out there, and now these are going to be new memes. So, you know, who's being silly here, Camilla or Mr. Trump? Because this is going to create more memes for Mr. Trump. And, you know, I think that's genius in itself. So these are a couple of memes. He certainly makes politics very, very interesting. Grab the pussy. I mean, it's hilarious, seriously. Very, very funny indeed. So what else we got? So basically, there was a comment made that from Autism Capital, in Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people are eating the cats. I'm sorry, I hope this is not true, because I love animals. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. This is what's happening in our country. Oh my God, seriously. I hope not. I really hope this is not happening in America, seriously. Wow, amazing, amazing. What else can I say? There's nothing more I can say about this. So many people are saying who won the debate, and the media is saying that Mr. Trump didn't win the debate, Miss Harris did, but I find that very, very hard to believe. As I said, she lacked any understanding of economics, really. I thought she was very weak on international politics. And, you know, the reality is America's economy, like everyone else's economy, has got worse over time. Unemployment's through the roof. I don't believe the figures inflation's through the roof. My understanding is the Democrats want to tax, the wealthy and, introduce an unrealized capital gains tax, which means on any unrealized capital gains, you have to pay tax over a 3-month period every quarter. And I find that hard to believe. And how would that be managed? Because something's up 50%, you pay 50% on that gain. And next quarter it's down, you get that back by the tax department. To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Her economic policies, and I have a very strong economic degree, so it didn't make sense to me at all. Now, at the time of the conversation, they weren't talking about cryptocurrency, but certainly Mr. Trump went to the what's it called, the Economic Federation or something, and was talking this day, and was talking about America becoming the great cryptocurrency capital of the world. And I think he will certainly do that, absolutely. And I think he's got some very good ideas, clearly in terms of border control and these sort of things. You can't have illegal immigrants coming into a country. Australia is very, very serious about border control, particularly because we do have a lot of people coming in from different countries in the world. And we, as a population of 26 mil, we have probably about 10 million people that are actually working. So we're not in a position where we can sustain a lot of illegal immigration, particularly if it has to go on benefits or unemployment benefits and needs help by the government. So, it's pretty bad. And also, the American deficit is all of a sudden 36 trillion. Earlier this year, it was at 32 trillion. As interest rates rise, you've got to pay more and more in deficit. Interest payments, and it's just the deficit is out of control, and that's public debt, right, of 36 trillion, which is being funded by the Chinese and Japan, and the Chinese are starting to sell US treasuries in a big way. Also, if you look at the private debt of America, it's something like 120 trillion. It's even worse than, public debt. Not only that, we look at the derivatives market, it's in the trillions, right? There's credit risk everywhere. If banks get downgraded because their performance is terrible, their credit risk is going to be downgraded, and that's going to have a big influence on credit risk in terms of derivative products as well. So Polymarket said that Trump has odds of 49%, and now Miss Camilla Harris has the odds of 50%, but I don't believe that. I don't think that's right at all. Anyway, BBVA, a big Spanish bank, basically has announced that the expansion of their crypto services in Switzerland to include Circle's USDC, and that's big actually, because people are expanding in Europe because of markets in cryptocurrency and digital assets, MiCA, and they're all getting ready to set up in Europe. Now, at the moment, we've seen Bitcoin, it's around 57,500. It has gone up. The market looks extremely bullish to me. We're going to get a big rally in specific crypto. As you know, I don't like Ethereum. It's underperforming. I don't like XRP. It's underperforming, and ADA is as well. Standard Chartered launched a digital asset custody service in United Arab Emirates, and that's a great story as well. They're really expanding globally in the Middle East, okay? And they want to expand into further digital assets because it's a huge, huge growth market, and offer more institutional custody to institutional clients, right? So it's the digital asset custody service in the UAE, United Arab Emirates, which is a great story for those guys. So certainly Dubai has become a real hub for cryptocurrency activities. And people are supporting, as you know, more Bitcoin than Ethereum. Many people had to close down their Ethereum ETFs, and, people are selling Ethereum over and above Bitcoin. So just let's see what else is on here. I'll go to the live coin watch and see what's happening at the moment, and, any specific stories that I've got in terms of what we're actually holding. So what's that one? Oh, that's Tron. Okay, so bear with me on that one. Let me put that on hold. And let's go to live coin watch. Bear with me for a minute. Just put some in share and we'll be right. Right. Share. Okay, I hope you can see that. Yep, that's right. What we've got is the market cap still very, very cheap at 2.043 trill. Volume's reasonably good at 70 bill and liquidity's okay at 5.876 bill. Bitcoin dominance 55.88. XRP dominance going down at 1.47. Ethereum dominance going down at 13.6. Tron dominance starting to go up again, 0.65. Link 0.311. Solano 0.3% over. And Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin Cash dominance is starting to rise at 0.33, which is exactly what I expected. Bitcoin Cash is outperforming Bitcoin, and I think it will continue to in a big way. It suffers with the same problem as Bitcoin, no supply, okay? Now, Bitcoin at the moment is 57,791, up 0.83%. Let's just do a thing on that to make sure we've got the right one. There we go. Ethereum's only up 0.26, underperforming Bitcoin all the time. Looks technically very bad at 2358. Binance at 534, up 2.37. Solano 133. XRP 0.535. Right on support here at this level, 53. I think it's going to go lower. Tron 0.1533. ADA 0.346. AVIX 2359. Let's just go down a bit more. BCH 341.47, up nearly 5%, looking good. DOT not doing very well, down 1.55 at $4.18. And what else we got? Fetch doing extremely well. ASI 133 and Pepe down 2%. But I think Pepe is a big buy, people. If you buy it here, I believe you're going to make a lot of money. So let's go back to our video and see what other stories I've got today, which are more specific to what we hold in our cryptocurrency portfolio, investment portfolio number 7, which you can see on our platform under platforms, okay? Sorry, under portfolios, I should say. Bear with me for a minute. So our next article is Tron and TRM Labs join with the Tether team, right, in a financial crimes unit to combat illicit use of its USD trading stablecoin on the Tron blockchain. I think that's a great story for Tron. I think Tron's quite amazing, and I think it should be a lot higher than 15 cents, okay? There's been an increase in fraudulent transactions. Please be careful with crypto. If you transfer anything, do it in small. The minimum you can do to check that it gets to the right address and then do the rest of it, okay? So this is a good story and it's a good collaboration. The CEO of Tether emphasized that, you know, they need to have massive security because there is a lot of supply of US Tether, something like 118 trillion or something, billion. Oh, it's a billion, I should say. So it's a very good, I think it's a very good application and it's a good partnership for Tron. What else we got here? Okay. So Michael Saylor was out there predicting Bitcoin will reach 13 million in 21 years. Look, anything's possible if there's no supply. There's one apple in the world. And within another 20 years, the world population will probably be 10 billion. He's certainly a Bitcoin proponent, and he's put himself out there that it will be worth 13 million per unit, which is going to make him a fortune and certainly MicroStrategy. Bitcoin, for Saylor, Bitcoin will also grow from its current 0.1% of the world's capital to 7%, with more institutions and banks providing Bitcoin-related services. Now, I agree with that. Absolutely. We haven't seen the rise in Bitcoin yet, but it will happen this year. I believe Bitcoin will be over 125,000 per unit by the end of the year, December, okay? Bitcoin is an expression in this view that you want to invest in NASA without counterparty risk. Absolutely true. And it's all about people not wanting to take risks. And I agree with him. There's less risk in Bitcoin than there is in the US dollar at the moment, which is just getting killed. It's a one-way trade. Inflows have started much more into Bitcoin ETF. 120 million went in yesterday. Ethereum is like the second. People are closing down their Ethereum ETFs. Van Eyck and a few other people because it's just not performing, okay? And that's not great for the price of Ethereum. Absolutely not. Okay, what else we got? Oh, we've got WRAP Bitcoin. Okay, I'll miss that one. Let's just see what else. Now we know that Ethereum whales have been selling Ethereum, right? And apparently on Ethereum, the network, and I've told you this before, there's two large stakers on Ethereum. And once Ethereum keeps falling, these stakers will probably come off Ethereum and basically start selling Ethereum. That is my view, okay? We've seen that the staking rates have actually reduced on Ethereum. And, you know, I think any more downside in Ethereum is going to cause the big holders of Ethereum to start even selling more, right? Notwithstanding, we've seen the Ethereum Foundation selling Ethereum. We've seen Vitalik Buterin, you know, the creator of Ethereum, with other people selling Ethereum, but also the retail element is selling Ethereum as well. Technically, Ethereum looks very bad to me, and I believe it will go lower and certainly underperform other crypto assets that we invest in. And I believe it'll be out of the top 10 by the end of the year, okay? And I've got all the evidence to believe that view is absolutely right. The Ethereum network is making less money now than ever. It's got less clients than ever before. It hasn't grown its addresses. It hasn't grown its client base. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, Ethereum looks very bad. Wales own 43% of Ethereum, and it's a huge risk. That is huge concentration risk. Two whales owning 43% of the supply of Ethereum. It's just going to be an absolute dog's breakfast, okay? And we're seeing it with the ETFs for Ethereum. The retail element doesn't like Ethereum, and rightly so, because it's not even outperforming Bitcoin, okay? So if you're still sitting in Ethereum, you shouldn't be. You know, you should not be in Ethereum. It's as simple as that. So what else we got here? And it's a real risk. Here we go. State Street Global Advice has launched 3 new digital assets, and they're looking at obviously AI and everything else, which is interesting. State Street, a big conglomerate, but they've been very slow to come into cryptocurrency. Galaxy are also introducing more ETFs, and they've been around for some time. But State Street, you know, is very slow to come into crypto, that's for sure. They are a very large fund manager, 4.1 trillion, the 5th largest asset manager in the world. But again, you know, they had been slow to the party, like many other institutions, like the banks have been very slow to the party in terms of investing in crypto. And if anything, the banks have stopped people from investing in crypto. And it should not be allowed as far as I'm concerned. Because if you sit in cash, you have a depletion in the value of cash because of hyperinflation, okay? It's as simple as that. What else we got here? Okay, let's go through. I can never remember what I put in here half the time. So we know that Matic has changed its name now, and it is POL for Polygon, and they're basically improving and boosting their network. So even though Matic Polygon has underperformed, I think going forward you'll start to see some performance in Polygon because of the improvements in the system, and they're still getting new clients every day. So, you know, they are very underpriced, and, you know, they are, you know, I think there could be, you know, a bit of a rally once this token is shifted from Matic to Polygon. Okay, so they just, you know, if you leave the token, so if you leave the coin on the exchange, it'll get shifted to Polygon, okay? But if you have it in self-custody, it won't be shifted to Polygon. So it's important to have that on the exchange so that essentially that will shift to Polygon. Now, some great stories for Solano. We see that Solano has outpaced all leading chains in active daily wallet count metrics, which is a good story for Solana and the price of Solana. Some people got very, very high levels of where they believe Solana can go. I think Solana, like Avalanche, many other coins, Chainlink should be higher than Ethereum. Binance should be higher than Ethereum as well. Like there's some great outstanding coins that are so cheap and that are much more profitable than Ethereum, and Solana is one of them. So it's an excellent story, okay? The active, more people, well, it's 5.4 daily active clients. They're doing, their memes are at record highs. I mean, it's just, it is a pretty amazing story, what Solana is doing, I have to say. Now, Solana has done so well, just like Tron, because their many tokens have done so well. And their recent one, Popcat, surged past 600 million market cap, making it the top gainer among the top 100 cryptocurrencies by market cap. And a lot of people, a lot of traders are trading meme tokens. And, some of the traders, well, some are losing a lot of money. One trader lost $16 million, apparently. But other traders been making, say if they've started with 100,000, for example, making 4 million or something. But again, there are millions of meme tokens, millions. You say to me, Susie, why aren't we making that sort of money? Well, because there are, as I said, millions of meme tokens, and you need to know which one to buy. And my favorite meme token of all time, as I said before, is Pepe. I believe Pepe will go to 0.01 digit rather than 5 digits and 721. So, but this is very interesting. I have to say that, very interesting indeed. So, clearly, because there's so much active trading on Solana with daily addresses and everything else, Solana is creating meme tokens, and some of them are doing very, very well. And this is why many people have a very bullish view of Solana, notwithstanding that last year it was up nearly, 1,000% compared to XRP, that was only up 9.9%. Raoul Paul apparently has gone in big time with Solana, but he can afford to place all these eggs in one basket. Even if they crack, he can afford to take the hit. But, from a proper professional portfolio manager like myself, we never have all our eggs in one basket. We can't afford to have all our eggs in one basket. And it's not great having all your eggs in one basket. Absolutely not. Because as a matter of fact, having coins that we have gives us great diversification and negative correlation when one thing's going up and one thing's going down. Now, Polkadot has done very well. Its new integration expands June Analytics. June is one of the leading platforms of cryptocurrency analytics, and they're going to support Polkadot, Kusama, and the Polkadot ecosystem. I think this is a great story for Polkadot. Polkadot looks weak technically. It's only at $4.18, but it is very, very cheap. And there's a lot of great things going on with the Polkadot ecosystem, and they're doing all the right things. They're in DeFi, they're in cross-chain interoperability. They've got on-chain analytics. They have different chains that make the system, the network, much faster, okay? They want to give people a clear, accessible view of what's happening across the network, so that people can focus on innovation and building with confidence. And I think it's a great story with them. So they're integrated Dunes Analytics onto their system. Dunes Analytics, it's very, very good. I use it myself, and you can use the data for your own analytics and all sorts of things. So I think it's a fantastic story in itself. Dune is a leading analytic platform that does social, figures and social media figures, but also it has figures about the networks themselves, whether they're growing, whether they're not, and all that sort of thing. So I think it's a terrific story for Polkadot, and they're going more into Web3 as time goes on. And, again, interoperability is the key. Now, another story was about Fetch, ASI. Obviously, there's an alliance, and they've got now a fourth member pending a community vote to join the AI, Artificial Intelligence Alliance. Now, ASI, which was recently formed by Singularity Net, Fetch, and Ocean Pool, have announced the addition of a fourth member. This is huge for ASI. ASI is one of the cheapest coins out there. We're actually in it. And with ASI, there is less supply now of coin than there was under these separate entities, okay? ASI will make a fortune. It's a great story, and I consider ASI very cheap at $1.38. It should, in my view, be around $10 at least, okay? It's a fantastic story, and if they're going to get this fourth member, it's even better. According to a press release shared with Cointelegraph, Kudos, a decentralized cloud computing provider, will be added to the alliance pending community approval. I think that is a fantastic story. And, you know, it's a very, very cheap crypto that I think is going to go through the roof. The pending vote schedule is September the 19th to 24th. And if approved, the integration will feature a token merger between Kudos and the alliance and Fetch's token, right? And it's very cheap Fetch, or ASI as we now call it. It'll add computer resources and utility to the ASI allegiance, okay? And it's a very, very good story to increase decentralization and security and to make things quicker and faster and cheaper than Amazon, right? You know, in the cloud costs a fortune with Amazon, but certainly Kudos. It's a decentralized cloud computing network, which tells you it's going to be a lot cheaper. The capabilities of the group leveraging advanced graphic processing units to boost AI processing. It's genius, absolute genius. And I'm very, very bullish ASI, ACA, Fetch, okay? It's going to boost computer power, reducing reliance on centralized providers like Amazon, who are very, very expensive. And it's a great story for ASI Fetch, right? So it's fantastic. More and more whales are starting to buy ASI because it's very, very cheap. With centralization, you can actually hack into something. With decentralization, it becomes literally impossible to hack into. Like Bitcoin, very hard to get 51% control of the network. It would cost you something like $40-odd billion or more to do it. And you'd need collusion as well, which is just about impossible. Because when you have within Bitcoin nodes of something like 17,000, you'd have to hack 17,000 of those nodes, right? So this is a very good story for ASI. It also can do cross-border payments. It's actually a competitor to Ripple and many other payment currencies as well. But overall, a fantastic story. And, you know, it's all bull. And I'm very, very bullish, people, okay? Extremely bullish. This market for crypto is going to break up big time, up, up, up. So get ready, hold on to your seats. Thank you all for listening. I hope you're all well. Please do look after yourself. I tell you what, politics in the US is so interesting at the moment. Mr. Trump makes things so interesting. Cats and dogs being eaten by immigrants, my God, illegal immigrants of all things. But, you know, I suppose you have to take that with a grain of salt. But anyway, I don't know whether that's true or not. But anyway, please look after yourself, look after your family, your friends, your beautiful husbands, partners, wives, kids, your beautiful animals, and please look after stray animals that are doing it badly, and just make this world a better place. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.